From the JMA Wireless Dome, it's ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Ram Trucks, and it's the ACC on ESPN. Both North Carolina and Syracuse looking to snap 4-game losing streaks. And Ashraf, Andre Ware, what needs to happen for the losing to end?
Well, I think for Syracuse, it's consistent quarterback play and just not turning the ball over. They've had 3 turnovers in their last 3 games. North Carolina is much of the same. Take care of the football. They've had a win right in the palm of their hands, just could not close it.
Bill Belichick telling us yesterday that when he used to come to the Dome when he was a young NFL coach, he had to bring a box of donuts for former Syracuse head coach Dick McPherson. McPherson would also go on to coach the Patriots. He said, Coach Mack would not let me into the Dome to watch practice if I didn't have donuts.
Paying your dues, man. That's what that's called.
And his quarterback is Gio Lopez, lefty, South Alabama transfer. He's been up and down. They want him to be more decisive, Andre.
Yeah, he's been better as of late. He turned it over a couple of times through the air last week against Virginia. I know one of those he wishes that he could have back, but a dual threat quarterback that should give Syracuse some problems having to play 11 on 11.
And then we have Joe Filardi, the true freshman walk-on who came here on a lacrosse scholarship. Paul Carcaterra is not the only lax guy in the building tonight.
No, this guy's tough. Yeah, you watch him, the little bit of film that you have on him. I love his release. It's nice and quick. He throws a nice ball, a nice tight spiral, and he's had some production in high school. Over 4,300 yards, 3,100 yards with 43 touchdown passes. He takes care of the ball. I think that year he only threw 3 interceptions. So he's a guy that doesn't turn it over. But right now, Anish, his stomach is turning at 100 miles an hour with nerves.
His head coach, Fran Brown, told us that Fran Brown asked Filardi, hey, are you going to be scared? And Filardi said, yeah, maybe for the first play or so.
Absolutely.
And he said, I like the honesty. Filardi then said, I'll be good after that.
Yeah, I'll take care of you, coach. I like it. If you hear over and over, if you're not nervous before a game, it's time to hang them up because you don't have enough invested in it. If you're nervous, that just means you care.
North Carolina will go on offense first. Syracuse won the toss. It's a team seeking its first ACC win and first Power Conference win under Bill Belichick. Gio Lopez set a season high in passing yards last week in a near win against Virginia, but he struggled against better competition this year.
Yeah, he has, but the productive side of him is that he's growing as a player. He's developing at the position. He's giving them a chance in games week in and week out. And he's starting to show a little bit of that playmaking ability. He had a touchdown run last week against Virginia, spreading the ball around a little bit. You got to feel good about the direction he's headed.
Facing a Syracuse defense that dials up the blitz on first down. And Lopez, a second-level run, pushed to the ground by David Reese after a first down to the 40-yard line. It's a Syracuse team that struggled mightily this year.
Yeah, and that's an element that Gio Lopez gives you when you decide to blitz or when you decide to play man-to-man. You don't get home against him, and there's a crease. He's going to make you pay. Syracuse, they love to bring the pressure with their defensive coordinator, Elijah Robinson.
UNC has had its struggles on offense, but Syracuse last in the ACC in total defense. It's the second worst rushing defense in the conference. And Damon June, the freshman from Jacksonville, North Carolina, with a robust run of 6.
He hits the hole. He hits it, gets there, and gets through it in a hurry. Runs tough. I think when we saw North Carolina, I made the comparison with Pacheco from Kansas City. That's kind of the running style that Damon June he runs with.
They've got 3 pretty big backs and a big running backs coach and a guy who ran hard in Natron Means. Here's pressure. Low throw incomplete for Connor Cox. Dennis Jacquez altered the throw from Lopez.
And I mean, he was there quickly, right off the edge. Gonna see him come right off the edge of the line of scrimmage, unblocked into the quarterback's face. Gotta believe that was a bust by someone, because he is not supposed to get there that quickly. Big third down here for North Carolina. Want to start the game on a good note. They've got their third down back in McGill, the other true freshman.
McGill goes wide. Play clock down to 3. Lopez just got it off. Takes a shot downfield, incomplete. Looking for Shamar Easter. He's their hybrid wide receiver tight end. It's 4th down. Here comes the punt team at McGinnis.
And it's Devin Green who gets through. They bring pressure, and they just run a little kind of switch route on the outside and overthrown by maybe about a yard or so. But it was the pressure of Devin Grant that forced the inaccurate throw of Lopez.
Demetrius Samuel, a two-way player, DB wide receiver, back deep to return the punt. McGinnis boots it away. And the fair catch is not made. It's muffed.
And no flags.
And no flag on the play. Officials looking for help. So did Syracuse touch it? That's the question. Syracuse saying it's their ball. Looked like Samuel was about to catch it. Taking another look. It hits the North Carolina player first.
Samuel's never touched it. Samuel never touched the ball. It looked like it hit the back of Ziegler.
So that's illegal touching. And it's Syracuse football. They talked about that a long time.
Going on the field is touching by the kicking team. It'll be Syracuse football, 1st down.
I was wondering why Samuel didn't catch the ball, or a flag wasn't thrown, because they were right a little bit too close to the punt returner.
Well, here comes Joe Filardi, and if he is able to cobble a win tonight, it's a story for the grandkids. True freshman, walk-on lacrosse player, and you go and face Bill Belichick in your first collegiate game.
Got to give him something easy here. They're going to go empty, clear it out for him to read the coverage, and then give him an easy throw here on 1st down. Got man across the board.
His first collegiate pass, and he's going to take off instead. And Filardi rumbles to the 15, only a yard on the play. Melkart Abujade, who had 3 sacks in the Virginia game with the tackle.
Those are some of the little things about playing the position. Are you going to try to escape outside every time because you're taught to work up and into the pocket? Those are things that he hasn't felt on running the scout team the last couple of weeks. As well, when you get man across the board, where's your best matchup based on watching film, where you know you can go there with a football with relatively quickly, so to speak.
On 2nd down, the give is to Yassin Willis, who's ripped down Patterson, the Carolina, starting in place of the injured Thaddeus Dixon, and he's done a really nice job.
Close to the line of scrimmage. Expect a guy like Patterson, Marcus Allen on certain looks, Gavin Gibson and Will Hardy to play close to the line of scrimmage. They are going to force Joe Filardi to win this game if Syracuse is to do so.
UNC's defense only gave up 2 yards per carry over the last 2 weeks.
Man-to-man again. Patterson traveling with a motion man.
That's Emmanuel Ross. Filardi under pressure, and he is sacked. This Carolina defense had 6 sacks last week against Virginia. It's Abujade and Tyler Thompson combining.
When they are just squeezing the pocket and forcing him up and into it, and then the middle players on the defensive line, C.J. Mims, DeAndre Robinson, those guys are doing one heck of a job of getting there. And then the outside guy finishing up. They've got to feel pretty good about that series of downs.
Steve Belichick, former college lacrosse player, defensive coordinator for UNC. Stonehouse with the punt. The fair catch is made at the 42-yard line by Javarius Green. Strong starting field position for the Heels on their 2nd drive.
SEC all day on ABC.
That Vandy, Texas game looks a lot different now than it did at the beginning of the season. Arch Manning, a game-time decision, concussion protocol. Diego Pavia playing like a Heisman Trophy candidate. Devon June for a gain of 2 on first down, Paul.
Keep an eye on 1 in orange, Demetrius Samuel Jr. He was shaken up the last time they were on defense with a right shoulder area and a lot of pain. He also couldn't grip his right hand, so I was shocked. He actually went back there for that first punt return, something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, if he shows it, you can best believe that Freddie Kitchens, the offensive coordinator for North Carolina, will see just how well that shoulder is.
June motions out. Lopez fires a strike. That's his top receiver, Jordan Shipp. Shipp has 30 catches now on the season. No other Tar Heel has more than 11.
He did a nice job there in zone coverage, just finding a nice soft spot past the sticks to sit it down. And Gio Lopez, who we talked about the improvement, reading defenses, getting the ball out a little bit quicker, does a nice job there of finding Shipp.
From plus territory, another blitz. Lopez in trouble, gets away from Jacquez, and that pass is caught. It's Kobe Paysour down the sideline, inside the 5. Demetrius Samuel tried to knock the ball down. He missed, and Paysour went off.
This is all the acrobatic stuff of Gio Lopez. When you blitz and you don't get there with an athletic quarterback like Lopez, he's going to make you pay. And Paysour, who has been coming on the last couple of weeks at that receiver spot, the chemistry between the two has just grown as the season's progressed. And here's North Carolina knocking on the door early.
Paysour 2 catches in the first 5 games. Now 10 in the last 2+. Out of a heavy set. Lopez boots. Shipp was calling for it. Now a throw to the end zone. And it's broken up, intended for Paysour.
Shipp's wondering why he didn't get the football, and I'm wondering why Lopez didn't let it go. And it's just kind of one of those things where you don't quite trust yourself to make that throw. If you're in rhythm and you trust yourself, the minute Shipp came open, you let it rip, and it's a touchdown pass.
Shipp put his hand up. He was calling for it. Last night, Freddie Kitchens, the OC for North Carolina, said he's got to be more decisive. Lopez does on those first reads.
A step or two, that's wide open in college football. And Shipp was exactly that.
Owens and Cox, the 2 tight ends, motion right. June powering forward and turned away just shy of the goal line. This has been the problem area for North Carolina the last few weeks, the goal line.
Yeah, you get down inside the 5 and just can't seem to punch it in, and you want the big points as opposed to having to kick a field goal here.
Lopez under center, tries to sneak it forward.
He doesn't get any momentum going forward. With his wheels, Anish, get him on the corner. You know, give him a run-pass option where he's booting around, and if it clears itself up, you can run it in. Only 52% touchdown rate in the red zone this year for North Carolina. So they're going to roll the dice here from about the half-yard line.
They bring in Benjamin Hall, their big bruiser, 240-pound running back. A redshirt sophomore, a Michigan transfer.
As soon as Paysour touched down, I would have had Hall going into the game.
4th and goal, 2 tight ends. And a timeout by UNC with the play clock running down.
Don't want to rush this call. You want to make sure you have the right play call and everybody is on board with it. So I totally applaud that timeout taken by Gio Lopez.
The last 2 weeks, North Carolina had a chance at victory. 2 weeks ago, Friday night, we were in Berkeley.
At Cal.
Against Cal, late 4th quarter. They're about to go in for the go-ahead score. Watch Nathan Leacock fumbling at about the half-yard line. Cal recovers. Bears hold out for a win. And then against Virginia, this was the potential game-winning two-point conversion try. Benjamin Hall stopped just short. Here we are again, 4th and goal from inside the 1.
Just wondering if they can ever get one across pay dirt, but like I mentioned, I would have had Hall, who you described, physical back that gets downhill, loves contact. The minute Paysor with that big pass play, touchdown, Hall would have been on the field.
The quarterback is in the shotgun here on 4th and goal. Hall is the running back. And a flag on the snap.
You got a Syracuse player
Before the snap,
that's down, and that's
offense, number 58.
Jaquez Jr., who
4th down.
made a play early in this game, came free on the quarterback, and there it looked like Gary Bryant III was coming free on Gio Lopez from the other side.
Given who's the head coach at UNC,
Timeout on the
Bill
field for an injured
Belichick,
player
as
in
they
the
attend to
defense.
Jaquez, and that looks serious. Out of a timeout, a penalty.
Well, it's going to drive him crazy because you're thinking you got everything calmed down.
Jaquez still down. He's had a long injury history at Syracuse.
So right here is where the movement's going to occur, and that's Austin Blaski, the left tackle. Just a little bit of a flinch. And into your picture comes Jaquez with that lower leg injury. So he goes down, and now with that false start, it's forced North Carolina needs to take a field goal here.
Reese Verhoff, a 24-yard chip shot, and North Carolina on the board first. So the goal line for North Carolina is to the Onondaga Lake Parkway Bridge. To truck drivers locally, you get close and then disaster happens. Carolina still ends up with 3. The Central New York people know. For 20 years, Allstate has celebrated every field goal and extra point made at participating universities by donating to the university's athletic scholarship fund, supporting all student athletes. Thank you to Allstate.
Big was that for Syracuse, though, after giving up a big play down the sideline to Paysor to hold for 3 snaps in a row, and then you get a false start penalty and hold to just a field goal attempt. That's huge.
Verhoff will kick it away. Carolina seeking its first win against a Power 4 team in the Belichick era, seeking its first ACC win. Syracuse looking to snap a 4-game losing streak as well. And we get to see Joe Filardi on his 2nd series. This was a Syracuse football team that started 3-1 with Steve Angeli, who tore his Achilles in the Clemson win. He was leading the nation in passing at that point. Ricky Collins, the last 4 games, just seemed out of sorts.
Right.
And Joe Filardi has earned the faith of Fran Brown, making his first career start, first collegiate game. He told us he'd have nerves early. Okay, this is now the 2nd drive.
Hopefully those have settled, and you got to get him a completion, though. Find a formation that gets him one-on-one where he can spin the ball outside and pick up that first completion to get him settled in to this football game.
Off a high snap, it's the sophomore from Newark, New Jersey, Yasin Willis. A short pickup of about 3 to set up a 2nd down and 7. Willis, the leading rusher.
That would help him out tremendously as well. Help out Joe Filardi, the running game. If they can somehow find a way to get Willis and Will Nixon, who they love, on 3rd down or in 3rd down situations, that running game gets going. It takes a lot of pressure off Joe Filardi. Carolina's not going to make it easy, though. They're going to pack the box, go cover 1, press cover 1 across the board.
Filardi floats one to Jonte Cook, unable to hang on. Defended well by Caleb Cost, the nickelback for UNC. Filardi's first official pass attempt.
And so now you have Filardi forcing the ball. You know, on the outside, he has an out route that came open underneath that I thought he should have gone there before going to a well-defended fade route to Jonte Cook. That's the leading receiver on the team. Understandable. Filardi still looking for that first completion.
Will Nixon, 24 in orange, the running back, son of offensive coordinator Jeff Nixon. Carolina rushes 4. Filardi incomplete, threw it behind Gill on the drag route. It's 4th down. And back-to-back 3 and outs.
Yeah, Gill had an opportunity. Had that ball been thrown anywhere out in front or just on him with his speed, he goes 10, 5 to 100 meters. He turns that baby up. Syracuse has got a big play. Just got to find a way to get Filardi that first completion.
Jack Stonehouse to punt. His cousin Ryan punts for the Titans. Dad punted for the Giants.
He's going to punt somewhere on Sundays when that time arrives. This guy is as good as it gets.
This one takes a Carolina bounce initially, and now rolls backwards to the 25-yard line. We step aside. UNC with a 3-0 lead and the football.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Ram, official sponsor of the College Football Playoff.
The lacrosse football crossover. Jordan Faison at Notre Dame. Paul Barton, a standout lacrosse player for UNC, now plays for Bill Belichick. You got Filardi, Jim Brown, of course. Some consider him the greatest lacrosse and football player of all time. And Bill Belichick was a lacrosse player in college. We spent about 15 minutes in our meeting last night. Really, it was Carcaterra and Belichick just talking lacrosse.
Yeah, I think it was longer than that, actually.
That's McGill on 1st down, fighting forward to the 30-yard line. Paul, where does Belichick's love for lacrosse come from besides his playing days?
Well, he played for Wesleyan, graduated in 1975, but he was an Annapolis native. His dad, Steve Belichick, was a coach at the Naval Academy in football, and he was a kid watching all these Navy national championship teams led by Jimmy Lewis and a slew of All-Americans reel off national title after national title. That's where his love started for the sport of lacrosse.
Clark's in his element tonight. Handoff on 2nd down. It goes nowhere. Jamie Tremble, who's been playing both ways, mostly on defense.
This guy's a dude.
Tackle.
He is a dude. They line him up at that Sam linebacker spot over the tight end, and he gave Connor Cox a move, and he is still reaching for darkness. I mean, he beat him inside and made his way to the ball carrier.
Fran Brown said, I need that freak athlete on the football field.
This guy's a player.
McGill goes wide. And a timeout by Syracuse.
Syracuse takes its first time out of the half.
Not sure what Fran Brown saw, but he was
It'll be a 30-second timeout.
the coach calling the timeout for Syracuse. Saw a misalignment and knew that it could lead to something big and hurry up and bang that timeout. Both teams searching and searching hard to find the win column.
Andre, I go back to what Fran Brown told us yesterday. He said this storm, that's how he described October. He said it's made him a better coach. He said, I needed to go through this losing.
Yeah.
I've come out of it. He feels a better coach than when he did as one who won 10 games a year ago.
And he's trying to find a combination on the back end. That's why a guy like Samuel is starting as a true freshman. North Carolina, though, they know how much Syracuse gives up in the air, and they have game plans for that. They've opened up the first drive, now in the second drive, throwing the football.
The speedy Madrid Tucker in motion. Carolina wants more speed on the field. Lopez fires a strike to Ship. And a first down close to midfield.
Chip's not a speedster, but he makes plays. And all you got to do is really get the ball around this guy. Nice job by Lopez working the pocket, stepping up. You know, you could easily have taken off there, or he could have, but he stayed in, eyes down the field, and came up with a big play to his receiver, Jordan Chip.
We're seeing a lot more of number 27 in white, Jalen McGill, tonight. True freshman from Spartanburg, South Carolina. He's out wide. Pressure off the edge. Easter makes the catch, fumbles the football, and it's picked up by Syracuse. Anwar Sparrow down the sideline and into the end zone for a scoop and score.
Easter didn't even think he was going to get the football. Looked surprised that Lopez had gone to him, kind of stuck it on him. Makes a football move there, in my opinion, after that catch. And Syracuse gets blockers out in front of him. It was Devin Grant with the hit that jarred the ball loose from the reserve tight end Easter.
UNC has battled the turnover bug. 3 turnovers in each of the last 2 games. In their 5 games against power conference teams, a -9 turnover margin now, 12 total turnovers.
Boy, that's huge for Syracuse. And another early game turnover for North Carolina. This time, it leads to immediate points.
Trip Woody, a North Carolina native from Waxhaw, my neck of the woods, Andre, puts them through, and it's 7-3 Syracuse.
The offense is struggling. Hey, defense, go score for us. Heck of a job there by Devin Grant, causing the fumble.
Well, they talked to us about Easter last night. 6'5", redshirt freshman,
kind of
Arkansas transfer.
Yeah, tweener type that not really big enough to be a full-time tight end, but too big to be a wide receiver. So I think there are places for guys like that where you can line them up in the slot, and you list him as a tight end. You might get you a linebacker matchup.
22 of the kicking team has changed his
He
jersey
was
number
wide
85.
open in, and Lopez just stuck it right on him.
When we talked to Bill Belichick last night and the turnovers came up, I mean, he just shook his head. That's been the bugaboo. He just said those are the things that have been self-inflicted wounds for North Carolina. And the last 2 weeks, it's cost the Tar Heels wins.
Yes. And moves them to -5 on the season in turnover margin. So, you know, that will get you where the record sits for North Carolina if you continue to turn it over at the rate they're doing it.
McGill lets this bounce in the end zone. Now a quick word from Verbo.
As your host, I have some rules. First, no showers longer than 5 minutes. This isn't a spa. That's the rule.
Meanwhile, at a Verbo, get the vacation you expect and never a hovering host.
A player down for Syracuse after the kickoff. It's a non-contact play. Josh Kubala.
It's like a cramp situation going on. Wearing that orange 19 that our own Paul Carcaterra wore so well.
Excuse me, that's Cornell Perry. Two guys down in the play, so Perry and Kubala. You're right, Carcaterra made that 19 a popular jersey. Perry part of the defensive back rotation. Kubala, a reserve linebacker. Gio Lopez in this offense will go to work again after the turnover. Now, Andre Freddie Kitchens said Lopez needs to create more first throw reads. As a quarterback, that first look, the first guy, they said when he's open, sometimes there's hesitation. How do you get over that as a QB?
You just got to pull it. You just got to let it go. Get it out of your hands. Tonight he's been fine with it. I thought he missed an opportunity to ship in the end zone when he got down there inside the 5, but aside from that, he's been fine.
Benjamin Hall, he's been the team's top rusher the last 2 weeks and pulled down again by Jamie Tremble. Kark.
Good news for Syracuse. Dennis Jacquez Jr., although he's limping. We saw him banged up earlier. Came out of the game. He has a sleeve on his right knee area. And Andre, it was cut up. It was swollen. I'm not sure the cuts are there if the pants are over the knees.
And a pad in it, Kark. Here we go again. You're going to get me all fired up about guys wearing shorts to a football game.
You've brought it up a lot this year, but that technically is the letter of the law in the rule book.
It's a rule. It's an absolute rule.
Back to the ground. Hall scavenging.
But what patience by Hall. You turn the video on and you can't help but like this guy. Why do you only give this type of player 11 carries last week against Virginia? His came in averaging over 4 yards a carry with a couple of touchdowns, but he is a guy on film that I really, really like in North Carolina's running game.
Davion Gauze into the game at running back on 3rd down.
Love him on 3rd downs. Freddie Kitchens, their offensive coordinator.
Pressure from the safety. And too high for Ship. They brought Devin Grant again on the blitz. And tell
you what, they were in man-to-man coverage. There wasn't a receiver open anywhere for Gio Lopez. I mean, they were stuck to him like glue and running side by side with every receiver out in the pattern there. There was nowhere for him to go with the football.
And Andre, Syracuse told us that was one of the matchups they liked. The Syracuse DBs against the Carolina receivers.
I'm sure Carolina likes their receivers against Syracuse defensive backs because of the amount of yardage they surrender per game.
There's Samuel. He's got the 30. And out of bounds across the 35. True freshman walk-on Joe Filardi, first career collegiate game, first start. Andre, early returns.
Well, you know the nerves are there. You can see him. He's just searching so hard to get that first completion. The offensive line, they've got to do a little bit better job of protecting him, and he's trying to make it happen on the outside. That's when I thought he should have taken the underneath out route, and that's just a bad throw behind the intended receiver there.
Your UNC, how does Steve Belichick want to attack a young quarterback? He's going to run. Filardi finding a small opening into North Carolina territory. His best play in his collegiate debut, a gain of 14.
He's going to compete. That's one of the things that the coaching staff, they like about him. And it wasn't the offensive coaches that really discovered Filardi. It was him working against the defense. And the defensive coaches said there's something to this young man.
Throws incomplete, intended for the kill. Still looking for that first completion. If you're Steve Belichick, the D coordinator for UNC, I'm dialing up pressure,
I am
using him.
Yes, I am going to heat Filardi up. He's going to swear it's coming from the bottom of his shoes that the heat is so intense. Absolutely. You keep someone in his face, forcing the ball out of his hands time and time again. And that's basically what North Carolina's done. They are man-to-man press coverage and said, hey, stop us or we're going to be here all night.
With 2 backs in the game, Willis gets the call. Puts his head down, gets inside the 45. It brings up 3rd.
You could use a little bit more of that as well. Big physical. Willis, all 6'1", 235 pounds up. They're going to sub in Will Nixon, bring in another receiver as well. They like Nixon. They'll put him out wide. They'll line him up in the slot just about everywhere.
Could be 4-down territory from here. How much do you trust a young QB? 3rd down first. Nixon gets the call. Machetes into the secondary for a 1st down to the 30.
Nice job by the offensive line. They create a nice crease between right over the center. The center blocks back and double teams with the right guard, and that gives Nixon the amount of room he needs to squeeze his body right through there.
Right back to Nixon. Ooh, slipped 1 tackle before he's upended by Cost.
Coleman Bryson still reaching for Will Nixon. Gave him a move about right at the line of scrimmage and just left him there cold-blooded.
A couple of changes to the offensive line for Syracuse. Byron Washington, all 6'7", 400 pounds, making his first career start. Joe Cruz sliding from right guard to center with Austin Collins, the starting center, still out.
Washington from a very good high school in Texas, DeSoto.
Filardi launches toward the end zone, and it's broken up, incomplete. Wanted Cook, it's Cost in coverage. It's 3rd and 3.
And Cook wanted the ball over his inside shoulder, but Caleb Cost was there. And so he threw the ball outside. All of a sudden, Cook had to try to adjust to it and just didn't have enough room there before Caleb Cost shows up. It's a heck of a play by Cost, making all that ground up to affect the play.
Filardi 0 for 4 passing.
Well, this is a nice look for a quarterback draw right here, Anish. It is set up perfectly. Look at that front. You got linebackers on the outside. Invite them up the field and let Filardi take off.
Before the snap, Syracuse takes its second
timeout by
timeout.
Syracuse instead. Play clock was winding down, so
30-second timeout.
Syracuse has now burned 2 timeouts.
That's one with a little more experience, and Filardi sees that look defensively. You can just check to him. I told you a couple of weeks ago, you remember what the check to quarterback draw was? Rabbit. So you give the kind of the antenna sign over your head, and that's quarterback draw. You're not gonna, I wasn't gonna check to it a bunch. When you get a look where the linebackers are gonna blitz outside the tackles and try to get to you, they're inviting you up the middle.
Is that something that's intuitive to a true freshman making his first start, or does that come with time?
I think it comes with time. You're certainly not gonna load his plate with that in his first start, but if he's looking to the sideline, you could give him the signal, and then he communicates it to the entire or the rest of the offense.
A give to Willis. That's why he earned the nickname Train in high school. 1st down Syracuse.
Witherspoon with a nice block. The right tackle getting good push, along with Byron Washington in the game. All 6'7", 400 pounds is what they list Byron Washington as.
At one point, he was at 450.
Some big guys, man.
And Syracuse will take a 7-3 lead to quarter number 2. Joe Filardi's collegiate debut. 1 quarter in, he has yet to complete a pass, but a defensive touchdown has the Orange on top.
Welcome back to Syracuse, New York. Just caught up with North Carolina head coach Bill Belichick, and he told me after 2 3-and-outs where he's really pleased with his defense, Syracuse is getting some momentum in the inside run game. They need to tackle better in the trenches and also beware of the quarterback run game with Joe Filardi. Andre, the perimeter defensive backs are doing a good job tightening up against these wide receivers for Syracuse.
No doubt about it. That's where they feel like they have an advantage card.
Filardi under pressure. Tucks. And pulled down from behind by Cost at the 11.
Velarde's going to be sore in places that he hadn't been sore in a long time, but it's going to feel good to him. But you've got to find that first completion. You're going to beat that drum until it's in the hands of one of his receivers, tight ends, or backs. This drive, going nicely for Syracuse. Big gain there of six carries for 63 yards on this drive alone.
Velarde lost the football and then shipwrecked well behind the line of scrimmage. Just Smith Bilbert getting in there along with Abuja.
This is trying to look down the field and hold the ball all at the same time. That's happened. The nerves are still there because I don't think Joe Velarde has quite settled in to this game yet. He feels, if we're talking about that first completion, you better know he knows and feels that he hasn't had it yet.
The albatross around his neck gets heavier and heavier.
Absolutely. The longer it goes without him finding the completion.
UNC loads up the box. Here's the blitz. Velarde in trouble. Flag down. Abuja tosses him down. Let's see what this penalty is. Might be a face mask.
Definitely. There's no bite. Yeah, I mean, he did it and held on to it.
After this is to the goal, automatic. First down.
There was no reason for it either. They had him dead to rights.
They had him dead to rights, but he's reaching to try to get whatever he can, a hand on Velarde, and he just happens to catch the face mask first. Big first down and a bailout pretty much for Syracuse, who now are operating in a goal-to-goal type situation.
That was gifted by North Carolina. Melkart Abuja, who had 3 sacks last week, has been in the backfield a couple of times tonight. Handoff Willis. Inside run. Not much.
Cart's talking about the success of the running game for Syracuse inside. Could be because they've got 2 big guys in there, all 320 pounds of TJ Ferguson, and then on the other guard spot, we talked about Byron Washington, all 400 pounds of him. So they're getting tremendous push inside between the tackles on this Syracuse offensive line.
On 2nd and goal, off the hands of Velarde. A flag at the end of the play from the back.
Boy, he threw that one 100 miles an hour, and you know what it tells me? The butterflies are still there. That's just a nice touch pass to your tight end, Velarde, who is talented in his own right. 31 grabs coming into this thing. Got to get him settled in.
There is no foul on the play for offensive pass interference as the ball was touched behind the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down.
Andre, we were told Ricky Collins, who had started the last 4 games, would not play. Luke Carney, another freshman, is the backup. Still too early to consider putting Carney in, or is Fran Brown thinking about it as we speak?
I think as long as they're having some type of production, even though there hadn't been a pass completed in the game, but they're running it. It doesn't seem too overwhelming for Velarde at this point. I think they'll stay with him for a while.
Velarde 0 for 5.
There it is, man-to-man across the board again.
And another flag with the play clock at 0.
Game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Now, we've seen both teams inflict wounds on themselves down near the goal line.
Yeah, North Carolina with an opportunity from the half-yard line. They have a false start by their left tackle, Blasky, and that backed him up, that forced him to settle for a field goal. They turn it over on a fumble, and Syracuse scores there. And then now, with their backs against the wall again, here's Syracuse with a golden opportunity, and they let the clock run out.
Here comes the blitz. Velarde to the end zone. Knocked away by Marcus Allen.
And all the tight coverage. Everybody pretty much that Filardi's trying to throw to, they're being covered like a blanket. Hey, no one running open, and you see Marcus Allen there with great coverage on the outside on Darrell Gill Jr.
Trip Woody is perfect inside 40 this season. A 31-yarder. And Syracuse tacks on 3 more. So, Andre, the Orange do not have a single passing yard or a completed pass, yet they lead 10-3. ESPN College Football Primetime presented by Ram Trucks. Anish Shroff, Andre Ware, Paul Carcaterra. We got the vintage Syracuse weather the last couple of days. Halloween night, rainy, that wetness, little coldness.
Oh, yeah.
I live in North Carolina. You live in Texas. We're not used to 45 degrees.
No way. Not this early. This is early for a Texan.
All right, if you're North Carolina, Andre, you outplayed Syracuse for the most part, with the exception of the one turnover.
It's the turnover at the bottom.
Difference.
That is the difference in this game. They've had some splash plays with Gio Lopez, a couple of nice grabs by Jordan Shipp, but they just haven't found or managed to find the end zone yet.
UNC has yet to allow a completion or passing yard. Damon June, the freshman, in the backfield. He gets the call. Big hole up the middle. June to the second level. And he picks up 15. Deuce Chestnut, the safety, with the stop.
Well, he gets a nice kick out block by Banfield, who's pulling out in front of him, gets the edge player sealed outside. That gave June the room necessary to break off a nice big run. The production's there. Just got to find a way into the end zone if you're North Carolina.
4 carries, 25 yards for June.
Grant's coming.
There's the blitz off the edge. Grant able to make the play on June right at the line of scrimmage. We've seen that a lot, the safety blitz from Grant.
Yeah, he's coming right off the edge. Number 23, he is out in this area. Is going to come right down the line of scrimmage. And once he comes down the line of scrimmage, comes right into your frame, makes a nice tackle on June.
Team high 4 tackles for Grant, who played last season on a torn MCL. Former first-team All-MAC selection at Buffalo. Lopez had time, took too much time, chased by Jobity. And Lopez gallops forward to about the 45-yard line.
Well, we're watching both these secondaries with outstanding coverage on the back end. There's nowhere for Lopez to go, and they're in zone coverage, but guys, as they get closer to you, pretty much every zone becomes man when there's a guy running right at you. They do a nice job of covering things up on the back end and forcing third down here.
Jamie Tremble in on third down. He's had a couple of sacks in the last 3 games.
He is lined up right outside the right tackle of North Carolina. He's coming.
Low snap. The give to Gauze. He doesn't get there. 4th down. Couple of yards shy of the line to gain. Let's see what North Carolina does, and they will bring out the punt team.
Kevin Jobity Jr., a versatile defensive tackle who can jump outside and play in. He gives this defense a lot of versatility by being able to do that, and makes a nice play there and forcing a punt.
Tom McGinnis to kick. Demetrius Samuel, the 2nd youngest player in college football, was 16 years old at the start of spring ball. Syracuse with the football and a 10-3 lead. 9:26 to go, opening half.
Our Friday night spotlight shines on Syracuse's Anton Delorier, a freshman from Montreal. The French-speaking linebacker leads the Orange in tackles and can pass for the Incredible Hulk. Antoine moved to Georgia his high school junior season to chase his dreams of playing big-time Division I football, and he connected with ace recruiter Fran Brown. There's a different mentality to Antoine's workouts and his nutrition plan. In the offseason, he goes 7 days a week, twice a day, and has gone a year and a half without a cheat meal. He has a big following on social media where he educates his followers on proper lifting techniques along with nutrition advice. This guy is jacked.
What's the French word for jacked as we get a flag?
A false start on Syracuse. So they're going to put them up to the
disconcerting signals, number 21.
Oh, it's going to be on North Carolina.
Disconcerting signals, point of emphasis.
3 snap penalties, continuing to kill this North Carolina team, both on offense and defense. We've tackled well. The run, they've pretty much had a handle on that, and they didn't want to let the quarterback scramble out of trouble, and they pretty much had a handle on all of that. It's just the penalties.
On first down, it's Tyreek Hill, the true freshman from Asbury Park, like a stone pony, and he picks up 5, but another flag on the play.
Another penalty on North Carolina here, and offsides.
Offside, defense number 8 lined up in the neutral zone. A 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
4 penalties now in North Carolina. That's Smith Bilbert, Penn State transfer.
He and Mapoyi, Joseph Mapoyi, both out of the transfer portal and to North Carolina from Penn State.
Hill remains in the game at running back. It's a pistol look with Ross in motion. Allen is the trailer. Low snap, right back to Hill. Runs into a roadblock, and he picked up 2. Smith Bilbert led the Carolina Palisade. Bilbert's helmet came off, so by rule, he exits for 1 play. In comes Joseph Mapoyi, another Penn State transfer, as you mentioned.
He passes the get off the bus test, that's for sure. Both those guys. Mapoyi, 6'5", 261, and he can turn the corner when they need him to in the pass rush.
And Bilbert's 6'6", 280. Empty set. Already flushed. Throws downfield. That was dangerous. It's incomplete. 3rd down. Will Hardy, the safety, in coverage.
You're going to see Filardi start to look at the line of scrimmage. He's starting to feel the pass rush before it's even there. And escaping right. So don't be surprised if Steve Belichick, Coach Bill Belichick, start to overload the defense's left and Filardi's right, especially with the pass rush, because every time he escapes, it's out the right side, and they'll take that away from him here at some point.
It's a passing down, and Syracuse has yet to complete a pass. Filardi, back shoulder, well short of Cook. He's now 0 for 8. And with 8:10 to go in the second quarter, Syracuse does not have a passing yard, nor does it have a pass completion.
Maybe a miscommunication there with Jonte Cook.
Number 0 on the kicking team has changed his jersey to 85, 0 to 85.
Cook looked like he was running a fade, and Filardi was throwing the fade stop, which is, in your terminology, the back shoulder fade, or like a lot of people want to call it.
Stonehouse to punt. Hardy and Green back deep.
He hit that baby.
Javarius Green retreats all the way to his own 11. Out to the 21-yard line for North Carolina. 10-yard return after a 57-yard punt by Stonehouse.
Introducing SportsCenter for you, personalized every single day. Now available on the ESPN app. Powered by your favorites.
UNC's defense has done its part. They've held Syracuse to 1 field goal, no passing yards. Offense facing a 10-3 deficit, a defensive score, the only touchdown in the game. Gio Lopez, 5 out of 9, puts it in the belly of June, who bulldozes Gary Bryant for a gain of 5.
They're not doing a bad job themselves between the tackles. That's where they're finding a soft spot with June. Had a big run in the previous possession in that same exact area along the offensive line.
Lopez to the sideline, low throw brought in by Paysour, who's come on of late.
Paysour ran about a 1-yard hitch. It's supposed to be at 6 yards, so you pick up the first down. And he just kind of sits it down along the sideline. I don't know if there's something behind it, but even in a corner sit down, you want that route at 6 yards, so there's a nice, the spacing is nice between one receiver to the other, or from one receiver to the other.
Cause the 3rd down back. 4-man rush. Lopez is tackled about a yard shy of the marker. Close. It's 4th down and a quick decision by North Carolina. The punt team is on. In a game like this where Syracuse has done so little offensively, it's not really much of a question.
You don't need to take any gambles or put yourself in harm's way. Your defense is doing, to your point, enough where you don't feel threatened. With the exception of that turnover, this is a 3-3 ball game.
McGinnis. Fair catch called for and made by Samuel at the 28. Joe Filardi 0 for 8. Andre, diagnose what's been happening.
Yeah, and what worries me most is that he's starting to feel the pass rush behind the receiver. You got to throw fade stops all game and try to make a living on the outside. It's just the consistency in which you want. The miscommunication from quarterback to receiver, receiver to quarterback is just not there early in this game from Filardi.
I'll pose the question again. How long is the leash?
If I'm Fran Brown, I give him the first half, and I got to feel pretty good about things going into halftime. But if I'm getting what I've seen so far, I may make the move to Luke Carney.
Low snap. Flea flicker. Filardi downfield and able to complete to Boobie Johnson. Trick or treat.
There you go. Did a nice job with the ball handling to get it molded. Low snap. And just to get it back in his hands, feeling where the receiver was going. That's a nice ball.
First career completion for Filardi. Willis stopped in his tracks by Will Hardy, the safety.
And what I liked about the completion, he anticipated it. He throws Darius Johnson into an area away from coverage. Knew exactly where he wanted to go with it. The trust was there, and the result's a big completion.
And Johnson, the wide receiver, they call him Boobie. Darius Johnson, a true freshman, made his season debut last week at Georgia Tech. That was just his 2nd catch of the season. Johnson, the motion man, trailed by Cost. Filardi chased by Robinson and throws it away. Vilbert also applying pressure.
See, that's his escape plan when he feels pressure. get out of there into the right side. It's not step up into the pocket away from it where you still can keep your eyes down the field. You basically limit yourself to 1/4 of or 1/3 of the field to throw the football in.
Passing down, Andre, if you're UNC, are you feeling like you can bait this quarterback into a turnover?
They are coming right now. You look at how they're lining up. It is man-to-man across the board. 4-on-4, and then everybody's coming.
Here they come. Filardi launches incomplete to the Syracuse sideline. They're getting pressure on Joe Filardi, who came to Syracuse on a lacrosse scholarship. He's 1 for 11.
They're going to bail. And they show it and get out quickly. So that takes a slant
jersey number 85,
that maybe Joe Filardi wanted to go to there early. It took it away because the linebackers show blitz and they drop out. So that's eliminated. Now you're getting pass or pressure. So that gets you out of the pocket. Nowhere else to go but to throw it away.
Will Hardy lets this bounce.
Oh, nice.
Got some backspin. And it's going to be down inside the 10-yard line. Strong punt by Jack Stonehouse. Week 9 of the NFL with the Sunday NFL Countdown crew gets started at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN and the all-new ESPN app. Monday night game this week, Cardinals and Cowboys. Dallas, we know they can score. Dak's put up monster numbers. The question for the Cowboys, it's been defense. They haven't stopped anybody, but Dak playing like he did 2 years ago when he was the runner-up to Lamar Jackson for MVP.
That could be a low-scoring game. Cardinals are decent on defense. It's just can they get enough production on the offensive side to keep pace with the Cowboys, who can at times or have at times this year found the end zone a bunch.
First down. Here's June. Tries to bounce it to the outside. Tripped up across the 10. Picks up 4. Delorier, Kark's Friday night spotlight, the freshman from Montreal, makes the tackle.
Good looking player. Perfect game for a guy like Delorier. He could be physical and take all that weight training out on pulling guards and tackles, trying to get to the second level.
Lopez hands it off to June. He's got a seam. June across the 40. And finally pushed out by B.J. Long and Chris Peel. Damon June with a 44-yard run.
Boy, there was just a bunch of congestion in there, and they thought Gio Lopez had it, and he gets hit because of it, but it's June that comes out of the pack. And it's Lopez took a pretty good shot there, but a nice run there by June. And I'm surprised June in great shape stays in the game.
8 carries, 78 yards, and June that time taken down by Sparrow.
I mean, how many times do we see college players break off a run like that and then they're tapping the top of their helmet because they got to go to the sideline? June staying in there. Now he's going to take a break.
Now he gets the breather.
That's a well-earned break.
Yeah. He's had some nice moments as a true freshman for North Carolina. Went for 148 against Richmond.
He's always afraid to come out of the game. I think I worked too hard to get in there. I may not go back in if I take myself out.
Came in averaging 6 yards a carry. Here's Hall. He can run through guys.
Boy, that counter. The counter is working for North Carolina. And what it does is it starts, and this is Delorier, who's down for Syracuse, but it starts
a back play of the defense.
One direction, and it allows the pullers from that side to get in front of him. You just got to show some patience to set up blocks, and both June as well as Ben Hall have done that on this possession.
So Delorier is down. Young man that Kark told you about earlier, originally from Montreal, played his high school football in Georgia. Built like a Mack truck.
You don't want to see him with his hands on his helmet like that. Looks like they're working around the ankle area, and hopefully he's going to be okay.
Meanwhile, Bill Belichick's Tar Heels have had some success in this first half running the football. 122 yards on the ground.
Well, I've been impressed at times with Gio Lopez as well, stepping up both on the ground with his legs and some passes that he's completed. North Carolina in the first quarter, 8 rushes, only 31 yards, and they found some life in the second quarter. 10 carries, 91 yards. Here in the second quarter for North Carolina. Freddie Kitchens, their offensive coordinator, trusting the running game on this possession.
James Hurd has checked into the game for Delorier. Benjamin Hall remains in at running back. Michigan transfer Hall hesitated. He's more of a north-south guy than an east-west guy.
And he will bring contact to your doorstep. He gets up a little limping a little bit.
Hall limping off.
I'm having
That's a 2-minute timeout.
Brain fog on this Halloween night, and I'll discuss on the other side.
Ghouls and Goblins have haunted both of these teams this season. Low-scoring first half in Central New York. Zubin, thank you. North Carolina with a 2nd down and 9. Lopez finds McGill. He's got a couple of blockers and bumped down hard at the 24-yard line by B.J. Long, the sophomore from Fran Brown's hometown of Camden.
A nice block on the edge by Connor Cox along with Nathan Leacock. And that's what made it. And the read by Gio Lopez is perfect. Timed up right and spun it out there to his back.
Damon June, who had the 44-yard run earlier on this drive, is in the game. And a timeout by Syracuse. They are now out of timeouts.
Syracuse takes its final timeout of the half. Be a 30-second timeout.
You got UNC 1 for 6 on 3rd down. Andre, the Tar Heels have outgained Syracuse 209 to 73. It's been the turnover, the penalty on the goal line, which turned a 4th and goal from the 1 into a 4th and 6, and instead of go for it, it turns into a field goal try. They've had a couple of other costly penalties to extend Syracuse drives. Just self-inflicted wounds by the Tar Heels. Otherwise, they're probably up at least 10.
Yeah, June is doing it by himself by 7 yards. But when you look at it, all that matters at the end of the day is what it says on that scoreboard. And right now, Fran Brown would take, if this was the finish, he would take it and run with it because it moves Syracuse to 4 and 5. But we are a long way from the finish line.
2 teams on 4-game losing streaks. 3rd down, empty set. Lopez now comes under center. McGill coming in motion, and a timeout by UNC.
Before the snap, North Carolina takes its 2nd timeout of the half. It'll be 30 seconds in length.
You don't see that often, an empty set and a quarterback coming back under center
after a timeout.
Well, depending on your point of view, if you're a fan of both of these teams, I guess the good news is basketball season is around the corner. The college basketball season tips off Monday. I will actually be in Chapel Hill for Central Arkansas and North Carolina, the Pippins and the Jordans. South Carolina State at Louisville follows at 9 p.m. on ACCN. I don't know if you've seen Caleb Wilson, the 5-star freshman for UNC.
Haven't, not yet.
he looks like he is a future star. And Syracuse with a legacy freshman, Kyan Anthony. He is the son of Carmelo, who won a championship here for Syracuse back in 2003.
Can't wait for it to start. Cougars got off to a good start against Mississippi State last week. Syracuse playing Houston here coming up.
Third down out of the timeout. It's a run. They don't get there. Lost a yard. Gauze, the third down back. And now fourth down for North Carolina.
Reese Verhoff has got a strong leg, so they're within his range, but nice job of getting up the field by Deion Wilson Jr., one of the defensive tackles for Syracuse. Excellent penetration in the middle, and he wraps up and brings everything.
UNC can run some clock here. Syracuse does get the ball to begin the third quarter.
They're going to take it down as far as they possibly can and then bring on Reese Verhoff.
North Carolina takes its final timeout of the half.
He hit from 49 this year against Charlotte. And then last week in Virginia knocked one through from 34 yards.
Verhoff earlier tonight made a field goal from 24. This one will be a little further back, but indoors, no elements. A 43-yarder for the Marshall transfer. Verhoff connects. It's 10-6 with 36 seconds to go in the half.
Now, if you had an experienced quarterback and you were Syracuse, I'd say, hey, let's work the sidelines, 36 seconds. You get to the line of scrimmage, maybe have 2 plays called, clock it, using all the stuff that you would normally do in a 2-minute drill or at this stage of the first half. With the inexperience of Joe Filardi, I'm getting out of this thing with a lead, a 10-6 lead, and getting to the locker room knowing that I have the ball first out of the locker room. So I think if you're Syracuse, don't put yourself in a bad situation by trying to do too much with an inexperienced quarterback.
Now, Filardi, a young man who wasn't even on the depth chart a week ago, but had been practicing well. Fran Brown liked his command of the huddle. He said, he has the it factor, but in the first half, 1 for 11, 25 yards. And the question going into the third quarter is, does Filardi get that first series? We look at our dynamic play of the game presented by T-Row Price. The lone touchdown of the first half, a fumble by Easter. And Anwar Sparrow returns it for a scoop and score.
Sparrow had a convoy in front of him, escorting him to the end zone. And that's the only touchdown that the Orange have put up today.
Filardi with a kneel down to take us to halftime. UNC had more than twice as many yards as Syracuse. They outrushed the Orange by a considerable margin. They held Syracuse to 1 of 11 passing and 25 yards through the air. Only 72 yards of total offense by the Orange, but that Sparrow defensive touchdown is the difference. A couple of teams trying to end 4-game losing streaks, and North Carolina looking for that first ACC win for Bill Belichick. 10-6 your score at the break. We go to the studio. EJ, Joey, and Zubin. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Ram Trucks. It's the ACC on ESPN. We're at the JMA Wireless Dome in Central New York. North Carolina and Syracuse both looking to end 4-game losing streaks. First half was a rock fight. And Ashraf, the Heisman Trophy winner, Andre Ware. You watch Syracuse go 1 for 11 passing.
Yeah.
I mean, this from somebody you threw for 500 yards and a half multiple times.
It's tough, but I understand the frustration of the young man. It's different going from running the scout team against your first defense to coming out and all of a sudden you're really in a full-on football game. Totally different set of circumstances.
First half game track is brought to you by American Express. North Carolina dominated the stat sheet. The issue for UNC the last few weeks has been turnovers, and the turnover is the difference.
Yeah, that one highlighted category with the one turnover, as you mentioned, not only was it a turnover, it went for a touchdown. Otherwise, we've got a 6-3 ball game, and it favors North Carolina. Now, with all that being said, you can wipe the slate. The second half is up, and just about anybody can do it. And we got spiders falling in here from the press box. Somebody trying to prank us a little bit. That was a little scary. Got me for a second.
Let's check in with Paul Carcaterra.
Anish, I caught up with Fran Baum, the Syracuse coach, and he told me he got after his troops at halftime. He said we're winning, but not happy with the overall performance. He is sticking with Joe Filardi, who's only 1 for 11 passing, but you will see Luke Carney, the freshman out of Texas, who won 4 state titles in high school. He said they have to support Filardi, get that run game going, and defensively, the power run for North Carolina has given them some trouble.
All right, Kark, they have Yasin Willis in the backfield. Filardi 1 for 11 for 25 yards in the opening half. Will play action. He's got Emmanuel Ross in the flat, and Andre.
Love it. Love
Those
it.
are the kind of plays that can get a quarterback in a rhythm.
It's what I was begging for early in this game for Filardi. An easy throw to build his confidence, something out on the edges. And this is the perfect call for him to get his footing and get himself going. Sometimes that's all it takes for a quarterback. You get that completion, you get rolling a little bit, confidence starts to grow, and you start to see it in production.
You still saw some hesitation. Should that ball have come out a little quicker?
I think he's okay. He's allowing him to clear the edge of the line of scrimmage, so to speak.
Yasin Willis gets nowhere. It's 3rd down and 2. Syracuse began the season with Steve Angeli, the Notre Dame transfer quarterback. In his 4 starts, the Orange averaged 38 points per game. They beat Clemson on the road, but in the Clemson win, Angeli tore his Achilles. Ricky Collins, the LSU transfer, started the next 4. He had major turnover issues, 7 picks plus a lost fumble in his 4 starts. Syracuse went winless, couldn't score. And now it's Joe Filardi, a true freshman walk-on who came to Syracuse on a lacrosse scholarship. Quick throw through the hands of Jonte Cook, and Syracuse goes 3 and out.
Not sure Cook was ready for that one or thought it was coming his way. It's actually a well-thrown ball by Filardi. Nice anticipation. The ball's out on time. Should have been caught.
His jersey to 85, 0 to 85 on the kicking team.
Will Hardy, a 5th-generation college football player, is back deep for UNC. Tar Heels come in on a 4-game losing streak. They have yet to beat a power conference opponent. Bill Belichick in his first year as head coach with all those Super Bowl wins. Still looking for that first ACC win. And Hardy makes the fair catch after a 40-yard punt. Paul, you talked to Bill Belichick at halftime.
Yeah, they almost tripled them up offensively in terms of overall yards, but just that turnover was costly. Coach Belichick said Syracuse defensively showing some inside zone. They have to be effective hitting the perimeter, and those opportunities will be there. Damon June in the run game has been really effective late, but he feels like the biggest opportunities in this second half are on the perimeter.
We saw June get out to the perimeter and bust a 44-yard run.
And it was right between the tackles. Big Chad Lindbergh, Daniel King, Banfield, who's in the game.
Gio Lopez looks off the screen, saw the pressure, finding June. And using the screen, the yards after catch. June into the Syracuse night. Touchdown, North Carolina.
And not a flag in sight. What a run by Damon June. And even better execution by Gio Lopez, allowing the pass rush to get to him right in his lap almost, and then June just doing his thing afterwards. Nice stiff arm on the back end on Raheem Long, and then it was just off to the races for June.
This is a Syracuse defense all season that has struggled to tackle in space. PAT is good. North Carolina told us they're not a big screen team, but they might have to use it. They did, and it worked out perfectly.
Perfect, because Syracuse is aggressive. Good call for it. It's a screen, and June putting the Tar Heels up here early in the second half.
Damon June all by himself has outgained Syracuse. His last touchdown went for 72 yards. Syracuse 79 yards of total offense.
Almost in one touch of the ball.
Spelled like demon, it's pronounced Damon, and no Damon or demon hunters on the Syracuse defense tonight.
I like how you tied that in Halloween. I get it.
Well, I'll tell you what, Andre, for Syracuse, if they fall behind 2 scores, still a 3-point game, if they fall behind 2 scores and they get into a position where they've got to throw the ball to get back into the game, it turns into a disaster. And that might be the reason Luke Carney is in the game right now, to give this passing offense a spark. True freshman from Mesquite, Texas, 4-time state champion in high school. This is his 3rd game. He's only attempted 3 passes all season. Give is to Yasin Willis. Hammers through a tackle, running hard. And Freight trains his way for a first down and a gain of 14.
That'll help Carney settle into this game. Nice job up front of getting to the second level. And then that gives the running back, once you break that initial tackle, an opportunity to turn it into a big run like Willis just did.
Carney saw some time in the game against Pittsburgh. Also got in against Colgate, a blowout win for Syracuse. There's Willis rumbling forward to the 38-yard line. It's a gain of 4. Leroy Jackson with the stop. This defensive line for UNC's played pretty well the last few weeks, and now an injured player.
Timeout on the field. Injured player of the offense.
It's TJ Ferguson, the left guard. Former Florida State Seminole, also played at Alabama.
And this is an area where they thought they had a lot of depth coming into the season along the offensive line, and was taking on a couple of injuries, one at center with Austin Collins, and a reshuffling, so to speak. And TJ Ferguson's a guy that they'd like to continue hanging their hat on at left guard. Carney, they said he lit it up in the spring. He played well in the spring game, and all of a sudden you start getting transfers in. He went to the back of the line, but it's going to be his game here in the second half.
And he may have to do it without one of his offensive linemen. Ferguson had started every game for Syracuse this season.
Transfer from Alabama as well as Florida State, where he played last year. Hopefully he'll be okay.
So this may cause a reconfiguration of the offensive line. 51 Austin Collins, who was out last week, was getting ready to take the field. We weren't sure if he was going to play tonight. Collins had been the starting center. So it looks like Collins may be the center here. They may move Joe Cruz over to guard. Collins will snap, and Joe Cruz, who started today at center, slides over to left guard for Ferguson. And off Willis, straight up the middle. Up to the 41-yard line. It sets up a 3rd and about 3.
All run here to start the second half, trying to ease Luke Carney into this situation here on 3rd down. Very manageable 3rd down. You get into short 3rd and 3 as they have here. This guy that's checked in, Will Nixon at running back, he brings a little bit of juice to this Syracuse offense.
Also a threat out of the backfield as a pass catcher. They go to Nixon. Slams into a roadblock. He doesn't get there. It's going to bring up 4th down.
Brown leaving the offense on the field right now.
What do you make of this call at this juncture, given that both offenses have, for the most part, been stuck in quicksand?
They're going to bring Willis back in, and kind of surprised because of where they are on the field.
Syracuse 12 of 24 on 4th down. Little crack toss. Willis picks up a 1st down.
Nice play call.
And hammerheads into North Carolina territory.
My Houston math is right. That's about the 5th run in a row for Syracuse, and just trying to outflank. They line up in a heavy run formation to make it look as though they're going to go between the tackles and find Willis out on the right edge of the offense.
6th play of the drive. UNC loads the box. They bring the blitz. Carney on the draw all the way to the 30-yard line. A gain of 18. 6 plays on the drive, all runs.
Well, they vacate the middle once again. Nobody's there. He's going to get eaten up in the middle. So that opens things up for Carney to pull it down with a quarterback draw, whether called or by default. It's the right play call.
And Carney on the zone read kept it. Should have handed it off. And Joseph McCoy, the Penn State transfer, with a TFL, a loss of 4. Eighth play of the drive. The first 7 have all been rushing plays.
No need to change if you're moving the football the way Syracuse is.
Another quarterback draw. And Carney taken down by Mujade and Isaiah Johnson. Now it's 3rd and long. And again, you've got a pretty good kicker. You're in field goal range.
Guess what's coming from the other side? You're going to get blitzed. You're going to get a bunch of guys in the box. You're going to get locked on man-to-man. And that's what they've shown to this point, but it's so long, they're going to actually play some zone here. I've heard of 4 across. We've got about 6 across right now on the back end.
Carney under pressure, and he's sacked. And that may have driven Syracuse out of field goal range. Tyler Thompson, who's been activated the last few weeks. That's his 4th sack in 3 games.
Well, Mujade as well. Look at the back end here. All those defensive backs on the back end. That's about 5 or 6 across, and they're just playing the sticks, sitting at the sticks, and they get home with just the pass rushers. I think maybe 3 or 4 up front.
They're going to bring on Jaden O, who is their long-range field goal kicker. He is 2 for 5 on the season. And this is going to be a 56-yarder. They got Will Hardy back, and now we get a flag. This may be a delay of game.
Delay of game, the offense. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
And that may have been intentional.
Now you got to punt it.
Now that sack by Carney, Andre, that's one you can't take in that spot.
And Jaden O was certainly, and that's a coaching point. You got to tell him when the play is being called in. We are in field goal range. Get the ball out. Don't take the sack. And I don't know if that was communicated or not, or if Carney was overwhelmed with the pass rush. It didn't come out. Then you have the penalty. So now you're certainly going to punt it away.
You've seen plenty of evidence tonight from both teams to suggest that there's a reason they're in the midst of long losing streaks. Stonehouse's punt skips into the end zone. North Carolina ball from its own 20. Bill Belichick's team with the lead, looking for that elusive first ACC win. The most famous play on Halloween night in college football, 1959. The legend of Billy Cannon, the 89-yard punt return on Halloween night. His Heisman moment. LSU, Ole Miss. Cannon played for LSU. He would go on to win the Heisman Trophy, and that was his iconic moment. 1959, also the year that Syracuse won its lone national championship in football. They had a sophomore running back on that team by the name of Ernie Davis, who would win the Heisman a few years later, the lone Heisman winner in the program's history. The Elmira Express. The Heisman winner next to me, and Andre Ware. There's another screen pass. It's McGill, and he's taken to the ground as we check in with Kark.
A few injury updates for North Carolina. Chad Lindbergh, the starting center's out for the game with an arm injury. Benjamin Hall, one of their top running backs, doubtful with an ankle. So Blasky, 58, who plays some tackle, will go back to his original position, which is center. So he's comfortable in that spot, but Lindbergh has been a revelation for this offensive line in North Carolina.
Blasky was the starting center last year. Lopez to June, slips a tackle. We're starting to see a trend here. North Carolina knows Syracuse can't tackle in space. They're going to the screen game a lot here in the second half.
Everything they can just to get the ball in a skill position player's hands. And it's been June that they've had the most success with here early. 80 yards rushing, 81 yards receiving, and a touchdown to go along with it. He has had some night, and a great deal of it is still in front of him.
3rd and 3. Jordan Hall is the left tackle, but Blasky moving to center. There's a toss. June in space. He's got the first down, and then some. Damon June has done it all for North Carolina. Picks up 8 more, 80-plus yards receiving, close to 90 yards rushing.
Well, they do a heck of a job on the outside. Jordan Hall, who came into the game and filled in for Blasky, who's in for Chad Lindbergh, throws the block on the outside that just occupied a Syracuse defender. That allowed June to turn up the sideline. I'm talking about well-executed play.
That was Kark's report at the beginning of the quarter. North Carolina wanting to get on the perimeter. This time they hand it straight up the middle. That's a big hole for Gauze, and he's going to be close to another first down. He's got enough. A gain of 10. Cornell Perry the tackle.
Yeah, the first guy for Syracuse, they're there. They just can't make the tackle, and it's all of a sudden leading into big plays in the running game, screen game, passing game, however you want to describe it. But they're just not tackling well, to your point, in space, and it's leading to big plays.
Gauze again. Threads the middle. Flag at the end of the play after a gain of 2.
Personal foul, legal use of hands to the face, defense, number 82. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
They get Jamie Tremble, sophomore. His older brother Tommy, a tight end for the Panthers. Both great athletes. Tommy is a tight end, Andre.
Tremble plays a little tight end himself.
He does.
At times.
Jamie does as well. Tommy, you watch him on Sundays. He's the one tight end. He loves to hurdle guys. That's his move.
That's That's a dangerous way to go about your job. You get timed up just right, especially on that level.
There's a toss to Gauze. Serpents around the edge. Another big run for North Carolina. They are gashing the second worst rush defense in the ACC.
It's a masterpiece being called by Freddie Kitchens, the North Carolina offensive coordinator. When Syracuse kind of guesses and plays, try to play pre-snap, and they move guys inside, guess what he's doing? Little flare passes, pitches, tosses on the outside edge. When they go outside, he's going between the tackles. It's been very, very effective, especially on this drive.
Back to the ground, back to Gauze. And he's met for a loss of 2 yards on the play. Syracuse that time getting into the backfield. It's Sparrow who has the lone Syracuse touchdown, a fumble return.
They do a nice job of getting penetration and into the backfield there. They won the line of scrimmage, and that allowed Sparrow to shoot the gap and bring down Davion Goss.
The way Syracuse's offense has functioned, you get the sense. One touchdown by UNC.
Boy, they've got Chip right now if they want him in the slot. Right here.
Numbers on the right side. There's the little tunnel screen to Ship. It developed too slowly, and Syracuse was there. It's Sparrow. It brings up 3rd and long.
I may have gone to Ship right from the jump. Look at this. I mean, both receivers uncovered. That's an invitation to give him the football. Don't motion over there because you're going to drag a defender into an area that's clear for the quarterback. Keep him out. I would, if I'm Lopez, stay and just raise up, give the ball to one of your better receivers and Ship. Now, instead of 3rd and long, you're in a manageable situation.
RPO, quick slant, Paysor. He's going to be close.
It's going to be very tempting for Coach Belichick here on 4th down.
Do you, knowing that a touchdown could put this game away? Syracuse's offense has done nothing tonight.
And I'm going for it. I mean, you hate to not have Benjamin Hall, one of your better short yardage runners, but you're going to bring one of the freshmen in, and Demond June, who just checked himself in the game, who is having some type of night. My bet is the ball's going in his hands, and it's going to be out on the edge.
UNC 8 for 11 on 4th down this season. Cox in motion, the give to June. Finds a hole, 1st down, Tar Heels.
Starts inside, but works over his right tackle. Ja'Kai Moore right on the outside here. He's going to take, he's on the edge. Just a nice little hint and into that crease. They get a nice job over there. Miles McVay is in actually at that right tackle spot for North Carolina. Lots of production from this reshuffled offensive line.
McVay, the Alabama transfer. June's had a big night. He's the running back. Ship the motion man. Ship on the fly sweep. Battling near the goal line. And now there's one goal for North Carolina. Every Tar Heel fan is thinking it.
Get in there.
Near the goal line, just get across the goal line without disaster.
Find a way to get in. And if I'm Freddie Kitchens, I might look up Gio Lopez here. You know, everything's been to a running back. I may fake it one way and let him go out the back door and use his running skills.
A 7-minute drive. This will be the 12th play.
Well, 5 of the last 12 turnovers for UNC have been inside the red zone.
Not this time. Demond June with his 2nd touchdown of the half. And Carolina leads by 2 scores.
They make sure to take care of the football there. And it's June once again. That counter play has been effective for North Carolina. Start everybody one way, they pull the tight end and the tackle around. Big Jordan Lewis, he does just enough to help his freshman running back getting into the end zone. Now it could spell trouble, my man, for Syracuse, because they have not had a heartbeat offensively in this one at any point.
The PAT is good. In the waning seconds of quarter number 3, Damon June finds the end zone for the second time. Happy Halloween from Syracuse, New York. Anish Shroff, Heisman Trophy winner Andre Ware, former Syracuse lacrosse All-American Paul Carcaterra, here at the JMA Wireless Dome. North Carolina, 1 quarter and 8 seconds away from its first ACC win under Bill Belichick. And for Syracuse, the issue compounds. They may have to throw the ball. They're down 2 scores. Tonight's dependable player brought to you by Mavis Tire. Damon June has done it all for UNC.
Yes, he has. Big runs that he's broken off, took a screen to the house, and I mean broke tackles in the process. Then he got down close to the goal line, and he was able to cash it in for the Tar Heels on offense, finally breaking the seal and getting his second touchdown run.
He's got the right name for a Halloween game, doesn't he?
No doubt. No doubt. Little June in October.
Joe Filardi back into the game. Yassin Willis jigsaws his way for a gain of 7. And that takes us to the end of the 3rd quarter. Willis slow to get up for Syracuse. North Carolina 15 minutes away from an ACC win.
Good. About to start the 4th quarter up in Syracuse with Coach Fran Brown. I just saw you with your entire team. What'd you tell them?
We got 15 minutes to get 11 points. So it's important that they go out and score right now on offense, stop them on defense, and are we going to be man enough to stop the run?
Where do you think there are opportunities on offense to get a spark?
I just got to keep giving Yassin the ball, make sure he gets it. But I think there's opportunities on the outside, which hopefully you'll see this coming up soon.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
On 1st down, they hand it off to Will Nixon, who only gets a yard. 3rd and 2. Syracuse does not have an offensive touchdown tonight. The passing game has been non-existent. Joe Filardi, the true freshman walk-on, making his first career start, came to Syracuse on a lacrosse scholarship. 2 for 13, 33 yards, has not turned it over. You're down 2 scores. It's the 4th quarter. You can still stick with the run for a little bit, but they're going to need plays through the air. They haven't been there tonight.
You could almost find something if they were drops attached to that 2 for 13, but there just hadn't been.
Out of the eye, Willis moves the chains for Syracuse.
Which means that the ball's not in the vicinity of receivers to be caught. Some fade stops, obviously, somewhat, but just not high percentage throws for Filardi. So they're going to have to find a way to get him going, especially if he's the answer or the long-term answer for the remainder of the season. Find a way to get him some easy throws and and some completions to go along with them.
They were spoiled last year with Kyle McCord
yeah.
at Syracuse. He was drafted late by the Eagles. Right back to Willis. Pinballs off a defender, met by Cost. Strong pickup of 6 on first down.
And true to his word, Fran Brown wanted to get it to Willis. And the start of this drive, that's pretty much what it's been. You send Willis with the football, carrying this offense for now. And he actually left at the end of the third quarter, holding his shoulder. So nice to see him back in the game.
Empty set here on 2nd and 4. Velarde to throw. Ducking. Chased from the backside. Abujade knocks it loose. Does Carolina recover inbounds? They do. Smith-Bilbert with the takeaway.
Going on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense inbounds. It'll be first down for North Carolina.
We'll take another look.
When you get away from them, you have to realize they're still coming. You can't relax because you're just seeing one guy in front of you. You can't forget the other 2 that are chasing from behind. That's going to be really, really close on whether or not
let's bring in our
down in bounds.
Rules expert, Matt Austin. Matt.
Yeah,
I think. What did you see?
I think this is a good recovery. I think he's got firm control. He's got the left foot down on the ground. I think he also gets the right foot down too, although that's close to maybe the shin getting down. But right there, I think he's got it. Rolls out of bounds, maintains control. That's a fumble recovery.
That initial look, Matt, I did not see the left foot touch down. As soon as he touches the ball, right there, it's basically a fumble recovery.
Big takeaway for North Carolina, and now with a chance.
Where's Paysour right now, Anish?
Yeah, they can put this game away. Paysour lined up at the bottom of your screen. June. Over 100 yards on the ground. Before that play, he was averaging almost 13 yards per touch tonight.
I think that'd be pretty easy to coach against. Because if I get a turnover and I'm in plus yardage territory, I am going to the house. Forget about what anybody else says. You just got to go defend it. You might as well go 4 across or however many you get back there, because I'm going to take the top off the defense.
I think if they had Andre Ware playing quarterback, they would have taken a shot. Screen pass to Ship. He gets rocked forward inside the 30 to the 27. We welcome those viewers who may have just watched Memphis knock off Rice. We'll see Memphis against Tulane in a big game next Friday. And Memphis, South Florida, a few teams right at the top in terms of that group of 5 playoff berth. Obviously have to win your conference.
Jeff Traylor had his bunch at UTSA playing last night. They were playing with their hair on fire against Tulane. He got the better of that deal.
Don't sleep on Navy either. 3rd down. Quarterback draw. Lopez moves the chains. And Worley gigs his way for a first down to the 21, a gain of 6.
He took a shot to get the first down. I mean, just a quarterback draw design. Somebody comes in, and it's Sparrow, the backer, who's in the game. And I mean, Lopez got the better end of it. Sparrow's the one off the field, and Lopez right back in the huddle.
Sparrow limping off the field.
Get in at that spot with Delorier out, and now Sparrow.
UNC taking its time. Lopez to the end zone. He's got Ship. Touchdown, Carolina.
Well, you can see that open up. It just, I mean, I came out of my seat. It was so wide open. Ship's lined up to the right. He's going to take it and come all the way. You got another route that's going to get the attention of the safety. coming across, and they bite up and look at all the room for Ship to work and for Lopez to throw it into. Well designed and a great play call at that particular time by Freddie Kitchens.
The PAT by Verhoff is good. Flag on the play. We got to cut the music track.
Kicking team number 4. 10-yard penalty. Will replay the try.
You a fan of the extra point in the NFL, or where it's kicked from?
I'd say so, yeah.
I'm not.
You're not?
No. You can't have a play that is a point count for an extra point. That one's good. That counts more than a field goal, and it's further back. You get what I'm saying?
Let's try this again. 27-10. We're going to break for real this time.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by RAM, official sponsor of the College Football Playoff.
Here at Syracuse University, they say the Hall of Languages, the signature building on campus, was the inspiration for the Addams Family House, a fitting backdrop on Halloween night. Saturday, an SEC on ABC college football triple header. Vandy taking on Texas. We'll find out if Arch Manning is going to play. But you can make the case that Vandy's the story going into that game.
They are. I mean, talk about Diego Pavia and what he's doing this year has made a heck of a name for himself and really pulled that program up by the belt straps and is carrying it on his back. 7-1 are the Vanderbilt Commodores.
And they might be aiming to go to the SEC championship game. Will Nixon, that was just the 3rd completion of the game for Joe Filardi. Vandy is chasing amongst some other teams. They're chasing Alabama and Texas A&M, both unbeaten in SEC play.
They have several teams by the time we get to the college football playoff from the SEC that are, I mean, legitimate contenders to be there, and not just the 2 that'll be in the SEC championship game.
Filardi locked in on Ross. He didn't even look to see another receiver. We get a flag with Jalen Thompson in coverage.
I think Thompson had his left hand on the back of the intended receiver there.
Pass interference, defense, number 20. Ball be placed in the spot of the foul, automatic. First down.
Paul Carcaterra, you were plugged into the lacrosse world more than anybody. What kind of lacrosse recruit was Joseph Filardi?
A high-end, a long-stick midfielder who is a shutdown defender type, but also helps in the transition game. And when you talk to his coaches over the years, Jimmy Muley, who coached him on Long Island for 6 years, said the guy is dialed in, a fierce competitor. So we're looking to see if he could rebound on the gridiron as well. Here he goes.
Couple of nice moves. Cart, for the football audience, explain what a long stick midfielder is.
So you're a defender by nature, but in the substitution game, when your team's on offense, you come off and they'll shift an offensive midfielder in the game. But a long stick midfielder like Filardi will need to have some offensive skill, because when you make a stop on the defensive end, you have to strike in transition. So he's the athletic type of player that can do it. Now, with that said, too, it's a big jump from high school lacrosse to college lacrosse. We're seeing the maturation process tonight as a quarterback. He'll have the same thing because he's playing in the ACC. It's the top conference in college lacrosse. And there's some dudes.
Big jump from lacrosse to starting on a Friday night.
No doubt.
Well,
dangerous throw, incomplete. That was Filardi looking for Villari. You can trademark that. That's an NIL combination. There you see him as a lacrosse player, and he's going to play for a Syracuse team that is fresh off a national semifinal berth last season. Clark, it's a Syracuse lacrosse team that has championship aspirations going into the spring.
They do. They have a senior class that was a top recruiting class in the nation 4 years ago. But for Filardi, as we see him throwing it out right now, the big thing for me is the compete level. The same reason why I would bet on Z Ware is why I would bet on a guy like Filardi. Filardi's dad, Gerald, was a walk-on at Penn State as a linebacker. Ended up leading the team in tackles for 2 years. So he's got someone in his house that he can look up to and he can confer with and go through all these tough times, just like Andre, your boy, will in sports.
Yeah.
Timeout, North Carolina.
North Carolina takes its first time out of the half.
8:36 left in regulation. North Carolina leading 27-10.
Who's the better team? It is wide open.
Can you believe it? Who's in the driver's seat to get to the playoffs?
The top 25 rankings reveal and 12-team CFP projection. Tuesday on ESPN.
College football playoff rankings come out on Tuesday with the top 25 show presented by Allstate. Andre's Allstate playoff predictor is right in front of you. You've got Indiana as your #1 seed, and this is for what you think will happen on Tuesday?
On Tuesday, as teams currently are ranked, and I actually have Indiana there because I think once they meet in the Big Ten championship game, they'll come out of that one and then be the #1 overall seed.
Already downfield, dangerous throw, incomplete for Gill. And fan, don't forget to go to ESPN.com/Allstate Playoff Predictor to check out your team's chances to make the college football playoff. You can simulate the outcomes of games and see how the odds fluctuate.
There's a ton that could change there. With BYU and this type of season they're having, but they've got a monster schedule down the stretch.
4th and 6, down 17. Syracuse will go for it. Carolina rushes 4. Marty has not looked comfortable in the pocket. Heaves it. And that is out of bounds. It was caught, but not inbounds by Emmanuel Ross. What I think is going to be fascinating is we saw it last year. We're going to see it again this year. Indiana, BYU, Georgia Tech. This portal era, for all its flaws, has created a world of parity in college football. Last 4th down play was reviewed, and after the review, the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass was upheld. We bring in Matt Austin. Matt, the officials in the replay room in the command center felt Ross did not have control of the ball when he was going out of bounds, and they didn't see enough evidence to overturn the call. Agree or disagree?
Well, I agree that's what they did. They couldn't do, they weren't clear exactly when he gained control with his foot down. I think there was enough evidence to call this a catch and overturn the call. They didn't think they had enough evidence, so they went ahead and let the call be upheld.
That's why I love you, catch. I agree totally with you. I thought it was a catch. Thought it should have been overturned. I thought there was clear control of the football with the right foot continuing to drag. Totally enough to show me it was a catch.
Instead, North Carolina took over. It's 2nd down and 5. Tar Heels on the verge of their first win against a power conference team, first ACC win, and that's been the formula. The run game, Gauze forges ahead for 9. The Heels have run for more than 190 yards. It's the first time this season they've cracked 20 or more points against an FBS team. They had 20 on the nose against Charlotte, and their big offensive output came against FCS Richmond.
Well, guess what's going to happen unless Syracuse bows up and stops the run? They're going to continue to see it with Gauze and June and McGill. You can throw his name in there as well. No need to pick it up and throw it.
Gets Gauze again. Turbos to the 35. We had North Carolina in Berkeley a couple of weeks ago against Cal.
Yeah.
They were coming off a bye week. They had been blown out previously by Clemson, by UCF, by TCU. There was a lot of noise surrounding the program, a lot of negative stories coming out of Chapel Hill. And when we spoke to Bill Belichick, he said it's about the process, and it's a line he's repeated over the years when he was with New England. And there was a certain confidence, hey, at some point the results will match what we put in. Well, they got better on defense the last 2 weeks. Turnovers hurt them in the losses to Cal and Virginia. And then today, yeah, Syracuse shorthanded, questions at quarterback. But North Carolina took it to the orange in the second half. They made the adjustments at halftime, and they've turned down the volume quite a bit in the last 3 weeks.
Well, what you say, or what you see on video when you're watching and prepping for North Carolina, you see an improved team over the last couple of weeks, and they let a game get away from them when we had them against California, turning it over late as well last week against Virginia, coming up just a little bit short. And those are some pretty good football teams, but now you're starting to see it happen in the win column, at least if they hold on here against Syracuse.
And they've been healthy. They are improving in the weight room. Tons of PRs they're seeing. You know, when Bill Belichick got there, not one player on the team was squatting over 600 pounds. Now there's 8 guys. They have PRs in terms of their speed. I've talked to a bunch of players on the team, too, in terms of the strength and conditioning program, the nutrition. They're healthy for the most part. Like I mentioned, they're peaking at the right time. I think this is a program right now because how young they are. Getting to a bowl game is monumental for them because of all those extra practices. Like, that will be huge for them in terms of turning the page from year 1 Belichick to year 2.
And they've got a schedule, Clark, that they can manage down the stretch that may very well equate to a bowl bid.
Gauze sets up a 3rd and short. To your point, Andre, they are expected to win by ESPN's metrics against Stanford. And Wake, Duke, NC State, after this game, they do not leave the state of North Carolina the rest of the way.
It's going to do wonders. They hold on here, it'll do wonders for their confidence in terms of the rest of the schedule that they have set up. And you know, you look at it, the consistent
first time out of the half, 30-second timeout.
Improvement that guys are making, like Clark talked about. You know, you're seeing PRs in the weight room.
Gentlemen,
that keeps guys working.
Yeah, and here's
wanting to get better.
Exactly, Trey. And here's the other thing. You see they're 2-5. They're 2 yards away from coming into tonight 4-3.
Yeah.
We were in Cal.
Yep.
When they fumbled on the 1-yard line.
And then short last week.
Exactly. 2 yards.
Please just set the game clock to 4 minutes, 5 seconds, 4:05. Thank you.
I tell you what, they've done a number on the ground tonight. It's a season high for North Carolina on the ground. 215 yards they've run for tonight.
They've outgained to Syracuse by a healthy margin, 417 to 152. They've had balance, 202 yards passing. Damon June, 182 yards of total offense.
You say that Gio Lopez set a career high last week with
season high,
I'm sorry, with 208. He won't get a shot to break it, even though he's at 202 tonight, because they won't throw it the remainder of this one. They're just going to eat the clock up and continue to possess the football and try to get out of here.
And I think they've got a real chance, again, with winnable games down the stretch, to change the narrative in the offseason.
Don't sleep on Stanford, though. Stanford has gone into many buildings. I saw him let a game get away. I think it was against Miami. He let a game get away from them, and they've won a couple of big games as well. So it won't be easy, but I would have North Carolina favored just for the fact that they're at home and Stanford's coming so far to play.
Here's the toss. Gauze hit in the backfield and wrestled down. David Omopariola, redshirt sophomore, mechanical engineering major.
But they got some good-looking players. If you're just bright for Syracuse, they just got to get the one position kind of tightened up. They get this quarterback spot tightened up, they can compete with just about anyone. And we saw that early in the season when they started the year 3-1.
Steve Angeli looked like he was in store for a big season. He was leading the country in passing yards before he tore his Achilles. And when he got hurt, the season went south. And off to Gauze.
Trimble.
That's a good one. Jamie Tremble's going to be a good player. They've tried to find ways to get him on the field. He played tight end. Now he's playing defensive end.
Syracuse takes its second time out of the half. 30 seconds.
I mentioned I get to watch his older brother Tommy on Sundays with the Panthers, and Dad was an NFL player, comes from a great football family.
He showed some quickness there getting off the line, and there's been a couple of situations where he's been in on defense and he's made a couple of nice tackles.
Coming up next, we've got Sports Center with Michael Eaves. Most of the fans here at the Dome have emptied out. Halloween night here in Syracuse, New York, and it's North Carolina who's got the big bag. 27-10. They've got the lead. Mario looked very despondent a moment ago. On third down, 16 to go. They'll keep it on the ground. They'll burn some more clock. Unless Syracuse burns a timeout, North Carolina can take this down to the 2-minute timeout.
And unless you just want to get Velarde some work or your offense some work, they do that, and they obviously do.
Timeout of the half.
They're going to take the timeout before and then get another one at the 2-minute timeout.
Well, that's going to be the question for Fran Brown moving forward. They kept the Joe Velarde decision under wraps all week. They let us know about it on Wednesday, but it was a smokescreen. And again, in Velarde's defense, it's the true freshman walk-on collegiate debut. But Ricky Collins had struggled. We saw a little bit of Luke Carney, but he did not attempt to pass. Now, they do have another guy who's in the mix, in Jakari Williams. He hasn't played yet. If you're Fran Brown, how do you approach the quarterback room for the balance of the season?
Oh, that's a great question. And I almost think you have to open it up because guys are so, close to one another in terms of who can execute and who hasn't. I don't know that Velarde has done enough to just cement the spot for the remainder of the year, or for next week for that matter. They go to Miami, and so they got to find someone that can help them move the football through the air with consistency.
It's Miami and then a road trip to Notre Dame, who's also in the top 15, and then they finish up with the struggling BC team at home. On fourth down, UNC will go for it. Lopez to Ship. It is a catch and a first down and a first and goal for North Carolina.
I didn't think he would build on a season high, but with that pass, he just might have done it.
Going on the field is a completed pass for a first down.
It's a heck of a catch there by Ship, and I think his right foot may drag the ground.
Now they're going to try to get a playoff before any review.
Going on the field is a completed pass for a first down. That play is under further review.
So we will listen in to the ACC Game Day Operations Center.
So we're going to be able to see control here, and then based off of this, we're going to see the right foot coming down, and I'm just see that, and that's coming down before the player goes out of bounds. So let's bring Mike over.
Hey guys, I'm here.
All right, Mike.
What's the ruling on the field? Completed catch for a first down.
Okay, all right, there's control.
So we're going to show you the part handheld. We're going to see control by the receiver. Then we're going to see the right foot tap before the thigh goes out of bounds. So we have control and a body part in bounds. And would everybody agree the ruling on the field is upheld?
Upheld, yep. Completed catch,
Three-yard line. 3-yard line. We're tick 5, and the clock is right.
Yeah, we're good. Thanks, guys. After further review, the ruling on the field is upheld. It'll be a first down for North Carolina.
So North Carolina continues on the drive, 1st and goal.
You start to look at this North Carolina team. We looked at the schedule, but if you look at the roster, there are a lot of playmakers who are
That's a 2-minute timeout.
Freshmen and sophomores who are going to have long careers left at North Carolina, where they're going to make some noise under Bill Belichick.
It's Halloween night, so we give you our top Halloween treats. Thankfully, nobody put candy corn on this list. I have no idea what bit of honey is, though.
Oh, it's good. I just can't have a lot of them with the fillings that I have. They come right out. They will pull a filling out of your teeth.
Hang on a second, Kark. Mike and Ike's. Carolina's going to take a knee here. Mike and Ike's?
Yes, Mike
you like
and Ike's.
Mike and Ike's?
Yes, fact. The reason I don't have Reese's peanut butter cups is because my wife makes these peanut butter balls, and they're like 10 times better. But the other thing, in a dream world, gabagool would be a Halloween treat. You know what gabagool is, Andre?
I have not a clue.
It's an Italian dry cured meat, pork. It's delicious.
You leave a bucket of gabagool outside the house?
Exactly.
Take 2 only?
Take 2 and call me in the morning.
We go to a pretty special place when we come here for dinner, so I'm going to take his word.
Yeah, you eat well, man.
I tell you what, that place it's nice.
Meanwhile, Bill Belichick saw his Carolina Tar Heels put up a season high in total yards, rushing yards. Damon June, 182 scrimmage yards tonight.
Pretty good night for him.
And a good night. Half, 21-0 North Carolina.
Pretty good night for North Carolina overall. And as they continue to build this program under Bill Belichick, and you see the improvement. It just came front and center tonight in the win column, but they have been close for the last couple of weeks.
And Gio Lopez, who in his first 4 games this season against power conference teams had 1 touchdown pass, 5 picks, and 8 sacks. Tonight he was 15 of 19, 216, 2 touchdowns, no picks, no sacks. Bill Belichick gets his first ACC win. North Carolina off the schneid. They snap a 4-game losing streak. Syracuse has now dropped 5 in a row.
2 consecutive weeks with Gio Lopez setting career highs, or excuse me, season highs in passing yards.
Next up for Carolina, the home date with Stanford. Syracuse on the road to take on Miami. Our final score from Syracuse, New York. It's the Tar Heels 27, the Orange 10 for Andre Ware and Paul Carcaterra. I'm Ade Schroff. Before we go, we're going to hear from UNC, Paul Carcaterra, who is searching the middle of the field. Big moment for Bill Belichick. I know he's won a whole lot, but we wonder what today feels like. Kark is with Bill Belichick.
This way so you don't see my bloodshot eye.
You look great, Coach. You look great. Coach, we've talked over the last few weeks. This team is improving, and you're making strides. And tonight, you put it on display. What are you most pleased of?
You know, the guys just keep grinding. I thought our conditioning really helped us. We were able to take over in the 4th quarter, kind of ran the ball. when they knew we were going to run it, we knew we were going to run it, and that was encouraging. Defensively got a great effort, gave up 3 points, and just a good team win. It's a good team win. Good to be back on track.
Your offense was clicking too, season high in total yards. What excited you about that group?
We blocked okay, but then we made a lot of plays with the ball in our hands. We made some yards after the catch, and after we had the first hit, we were able to get some good yards. And I thought Gio picked up some key third downs for us with his running. Even though it wasn't for big numbers, it was for 5 and we needed 4, things like that. But our backs ran hard, and our line really showed their stamina. We lost Lindbergh right around the halftime, and so Hall came in for him. Blasky moved to center, and those guys hung in there pretty well.
Team is getting stronger, like you said, in the weight room and the conditioning, and it showed tonight in your first ACC win, Coach. Congratulations.
Thanks, Clark. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Bill Belichick gets the win here at the Dome. First ACC win, first win against a Power 4 team this season. Carolina does not leave the state of North Carolina for the balance of the regular season. A lot to get to on SportsCenter. Here's Michael Eaves.